7:32 this morning, Fox 17 News works to connect you to members of Congress so you can find out exactly where they stand on issues and how they're working for you.
And this morning, joining us live is Tennessee Representative Andy Ogles, who covers District 5, that's Nashville, and some of our communities south. Good morning, Congressman. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Let's start here with your stance on the ICE raids at home, which we know you do support. But how do you think local leaders are handling this?
Well, look, if someone comes here illegally, their very first action is a crime. You can't just walk into the United States of America. You're illegal at that point. And you do so knowingly, and you do so knowing that you could be deported. President Donald Trump campaigned on this issue. Americans overwhelmingly delivered the Electoral College, all the battleground states, and the popular vote because of this very issue. And so it's no surprising that President Trump is following through on his word. So I support the raids, and any local, elected official that is interfering with ICE or Homeland Security for doing their job should be, quite frankly, prosecuted. You saw some members of Congress, get into a scuffle with ICE and kind of try to storm a detention center. And Kristi Noem, Secretary Noem, said just yesterday that they, quite frankly, may have committed felonies. So we'll see what happens as we go forward. But, look, I stand with Americans. And when you look at the types of people that are being deported, this gentleman from Guatemala is guilty and charged, convicted of aggravated assault. This gentleman from Iraq, a convicted rapist. This gentleman from El Salvador, MS-13, is a murderer. You look at the rate specifically in Nashville. You had a child trafficker, a rapist, a murderer. You had a drug trafficker of meth and a drug trafficker of cocaine. The list goes on and on and on. So Freddie O'Connell, the mayor, if he wants to side with criminals, that's his choice. I'm going to side with the people of Tennessee, and we're going to uphold the law. I stand with Kristi Noem. I stand with our law enforcement. I stand with ICE, and we're not going to back down.
Congressman, there have been some people, including the mayor and even the sheriff overnight, who have complained about the lack of transparency from the Department of Homeland Security. In your opinion, sir, should these folks who have been taken away, those maybe who have not been charged with some of the heinous crimes that you have brought up, do they have a right to know where they're going? Do their family members have a right to know where they are? We've got a lot of folks this morning complaining that they have no idea where their family members went, or as long as they're gone, sir, is that okay with you?
Look, at the end of the day, I'm going to get back to my first comment. If you come here illegally, you have committed a crime. So if I go to Europe, if I go to the Middle East, quite frankly, if I go to Mexico illegally, I've committed a crime, and they're going to deport me. So to those who entered this country illegally, whether it's 1 million or 20 million, the numbers don't matter. Whether you're a good person and you have children, that doesn't matter. You still committed a crime. And we have a right as the United States of America to decide who comes into this country, and we have a right to decide who has to leave.
Representative Ogles.
What we've seen is a taxing of our healthcare system. So look, you look at California that literally has illegals on the Medicaid system getting better benefits than American seniors. I have a problem with that, and they should be deported.
You tweeted, Representative Ogles, that you think ICE should come to Nashville to an event that is scheduled for May 17th. It's a fight back rally where demonstrators want to end what they call ICE kidnappings. Are you concerned that these people are afraid?
Well, look, if you're here illegally, if you committed a crime, then you might, I guess, have fear, but you can also self-deport. And I know that sounds harsh, but again, this is our country. Our healthcare system, our education system, you go down the list, it's being taxed by folks who are here illegally. We have criminals. So I just traveled to El Salvador. I met with the president of the country. I went to the prison where illegals are being deported to. It were some of the worst that society has to offer. I talked to a gang member who had been in the United States of America. He'd been in the gang since he was 13, up here on the East Coast, Virginia, New Hampshire, and everywhere in between. And when asked why he was in prison, he said he was in prison for murder. When asked how many he had murdered, he said around 50. This is who we're targeting. And
Representative
still,
Ogles.
Whether you've committed those crimes or not, if you're here illegally, it's still a crime.
Yeah.
And you still have to go home.
We've got to get to a quick commercial break, but we would like to be able to ask you a couple of more questions, specifically about how you want to make sure the president's executive orders get codified. So if you've got a few extra minutes, we'd like to keep you around, and we'll come back after the break and talk a little bit more about that.
All right,
Sure thing.
We'll be right back with Representative Andy Ogles on Fox 17 News this morning.